Hi, I'm Jeff Murrow. I want to welcome you to True Texas History. I'm glad that you're here with me today, here on June the 23rd. Now, on this day in Texas history, back in 1819, the members of the James Long expedition declared independence and actually declared independence from Spain, and they declared the Republic of Texas. Yes, it is the same name, the Republic of Texas. Now, this was not the first Republic of Texas. You know, many times people get all these things confused. I once did a presentation on the 4 birthdays of Texas. Actually, technically, there's probably 5. So, in some ways, you know, you could say Happy Independence Day today. But today is the day that the Long expedition declared independence. Now, the Long expedition had their own flag. As you see, it was red with the red and white stripes, which those red and white stripes, many people refer to them as patriot stripes, going back to the American flag, or the flag of the American colonies. Now, Long was very influenced by some of these people. In fact, his a family member was General Wilkinson, and if you go ahead and check my videos, I did one on General Wilkinson. General Wilkinson, at this point, at 1819, it was shortly after the War of 1812. He was embarrassed with some of the action that he took in Canada and ended up losing. But as a general, he was behind many of the expeditions that went into Texas to go ahead and bring you up to speed with some of the events that were happening in Texas. Back in 1812, you had the Gutierrez-McGee expedition that declared a Republic of Texas. They failed. They were attacked by the Spanish troops. They scattered in various directions. Most of the men ended up in New Orleans, fought in the Battle of New Orleans. But many of these veterans that had been on the Gutierrez-McGee expedition, they heard about Long and his expedition, and they went ahead and joined him. I mean, he was putting this thing together in Natchez, Mississippi, put together the forces. They crossed the Sabine, came into Texas to Nacogdoches. He was joined by such men as General Tres Palacios. You also had Ben Milam, and you also had Bowie. And some of the thought was that this expedition would hook up with Jean Lafitte. Now, Jean Lafitte had his operation down in Galveston, and they were hoping that they would join up. Now, Lafitte had it made. He had declared the Republic of Mexico in name only, so that he and his forces could go ahead and continue raiding the shipping lines. And so he was not necessarily interested in the Republic of Texas, because at this point, Spain was showing itself weak. Spain was stretched awfully thin, because Napoleon had come in, had attacked Spain, left it in shambles. And when your country's in shambles, it's hard to run the North American operations. So you find during this period, many of the Spanish-held territories were going around and declaring their independence. Trouble in Mexico had started stirring up independence movement. They were not fully independent. Now, I raise this point because here we have 2 republics of Texas so far: the Gutierrez-McGee expedition and also the Long expedition, that were in operation before there was a Mexico. And this becomes a point of contention because there are some historians out there say, Texas was stolen from Mexico. Well, if Texas was busy declaring itself independent from Spain, how is Mexico older than Texas? Now, granted, the Third Republic of Texas, which is typically what we call the Republic of Texas, did come into existence later on, but it's almost like it was a continuation. I mean, when some of the same people are involved in these operations, to me, it would be a continuation of an effort that started earlier. And the Long Expedition is one of these. The 2 points that bring up a lot of debate, when was the Republic of Texas declared? Because this was, the second of 4 declarations, because you also have Philip Dimmitt declaring independence as well later. So there's always part of that debate. Then there is the whole debate as to who was behind it. Was this an American effort to go ahead and come on over here? And evidence of that would be with the flag and with General Wilkinson being behind it. Then you also have the whole debate of who is older, because then that gets into, was Texas stolen or was Texas not stolen, and all the rigmarole about that. But I wanted to go ahead and make you aware of today being the day that Texas declared its independence from Spain. Now, if you want more information on the Long Expedition, you can check my video out where I go into what happened with the men of that expedition. But the Long Expedition in general, it had elements of the Gutierrez-McGee expedition, as well as some of the others. I mean, you had John Sibley, Dr. John Sibley. You had Trace Palacios, which he had been involved in a lot of activity. You had Bowie, who had been part of Lafitte's operation. Lafitte, who had been a big part of, the Battle of New Orleans and some of the earlier activities. So, it's one of these, almost like a Hollywood blockbuster, where you have people from all kinds of different previous expeditions and filibustering activity all coming together in Texas. But unfortunately, it was not successful in their attempts at that time, but it would be later on. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I'll be glad to get to them. And until next time, this is Jeff Murrah wishing you vaya con Dios, my friends. Goodbye.